It's been revealed Prime Minister Scott Morrison jetted to Sydney and back to Canberra over the Father's Day weekend despite strict travel rules. Nine Federal Politics reporter Rachel Baxter joins us now from Canberra. Rachel, the PM was granted an exemption?
He was, Karl. The Prime Minister's office has confirmed Mr Morrison flew on a VIP plane from Canberra on Friday to Sydney, and then he returned again yesterday for a national security meeting and to attend the National Women's Safety Summit. Now, this is despite 14-day mandatory home isolation for any travellers who return back to the ACT from Sydney. He was granted a Level 3 stay-at-home order restricting his movements between the lodge where he lives and Parliament House, although there was no mention of his quick trip when he posted to social media on Sunday. The PM put up a picture with his wife Jenny and two daughters, making a point that the photo was taken earlier in the year. Similar special exemptions have been granted for other ministers attending Parliament. For example, Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce was able to leave a locked-down Armidale and attend Parliament, as was Treasurer Josh Frydenberg, to work on the budget. But I guess the main thing is the Prime Minister's looking forward to the next 6 weeks. Parliament isn't sitting, and he will return, Karl, back to Sydney in the coming days.
Rachel, thank you.
Speaking of special treatment, because I know this one's fired up Chris O'Keefe this morning, reports that the Prime Minister flew home, got a travel exemption and flew home to spend Father's Day with his family. You're not happy about this one?
Well, how is it fair? We've got the biggest states in Australia under lockdown and big portions of it under curfew. There's people who haven't been able to meet their grandchildren yet, let alone be able to fly from lockdown Canberra to lockdown Sydney for Father's Day. And I don't buy the argument that he had to get back to Canberra from some meeting, a meeting that obviously didn't end up happening anyway, and he was going to relocate to Sydney. It all seems a bit cute and a bit convenient for the Prime Minister to ring up the VIP jet plane and fly in and get to Kirribilli and have Father's Day when people are sitting across the Tweed border, unable to basically shake hands with their children. It's just outrageous to think that the Prime Minister thought he could get away with this. It's Hawaii 2.0 in my view.
Oh, I mean, they're strong words. I mean, Bill, I don't begrudge anyone getting the opportunity to spend Father's Day with their dad. I would have loved to. Obviously, with lockdown, we weren't able to.
If you weren't allowed to, were you? No.
That's right.
Did you ring the Air Force?
I'm okay.
Fly to Warhope?
I'm okay if the Prime Minister can get home and say, I don't know if planes go to Warhope.
Yeah, but Ali, that reflects well on you and your general, decency. But the point that Chris is making and the point I was making earlier about different parts of Sydney being treated differently is you've got to have the same rules for people. I mean, I think Mr Morrison has exercised poor judgment in this case. I was a bit surprised when I read he had done this, to be honest. It's not that he doesn't deserve to see his kids, but so does every other Australian. And I think that when your people are doing it tough, you've got to do it tough too. I know that for a lot of MPs, when we leave Canberra, we've got to spend 2 weeks locked down away from our families. So I just don't know how he was able to get a permit when most people can't.
But as well as that, we've heard from the Prime Minister that this lockdown in Sydney and the lockdown in Melbourne has to work. You send the ADF in, there's troops on the streets in southwest Sydney. Yet he makes the rules so he can go and spend Father's Day with his kids. It doesn't sit well with me, and I'm not begrudging in the fact he should be able to spend Father's Day, but so should the rest of Australia, and we can't because we're in lockdown, because we didn't have enough vaccines in the start with.
I'm all worked up now. Come on, Chris, take a deep breath, my friend.
Got my blood pressure
Chris is right. Well, you can't have one rule for Mr Morrison and another rule for everyone else. I just think it's appalling judgment.
Yeah, all I know is I think for Chris O'Keefe this morning, I'd have to bring back Karl's meditation.
Yeah.